May I come in, sir?
Come in.
Good afternoon to everyone.
Good afternoon. Have your seat, Namra.
Thank you, sir.
Are you fully vaccinated?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so we are also vaccinated. You may remove your mask.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
Introduce yourself.
Sir, I am a very passionate and a dedicated girl. I completed my schooling from my hometown, that is Kanpur. Then I went on to pursue my higher education in Bachelor of Technology in Computer Engineering from Aligarh Muslim University. In my hobbies, I like to talk to children and watch short videos on social issues.
Okay, you did your computer engineering which year?
So 2016.
16, 6 years ago.
Yes, sir.
And what are you doing for 6 years?
Sir, I've been studying for civil services exams.
Why didn't you pursue your job?
Sir, because I wanted a larger platform so that I could contribute at a larger scale and make larger difference in the life of people, which could also make my life meaningful and keep me motivated throughout.
Do you think fundamental duty should be made legally justiciable?
Sir, I think there has been a lot of debate on it. Like, it cannot be forced upon someone because there are certain things which should come from within. Also, we have seen that more the laws, the more the rebellion against it is there. So it is important that we nurture these things in the people rather than forcing upon them.
Okay, murder is been declared as a crime legally. So can we look at this as a kind of duty not to kill somebody? Because if we decide to kill, it will be called murder and will be punished for that.
So of course, murder has been declared as a crime, which is obviously, it is when we murder someone, we treat the person as a means to some end, which the murderer is trying to achieve. So as we know, various philosophers have focused upon this, and also our Indian schools try to focus upon this, that we should not treat the other individual as an end, as a means to an end. The person is an end himself. So murder should be murder is a crime, but also we need to focus more on the reformation of the criminals or the murderers, and not a very severe punishment, because sometimes it is out of certain situations that go beyond the person. So some reformation should be there.
I mean to say that murder has been declared as crime in the eyes of law impliedly means that we should not murder somebody. So it's our duty not to murder. Similarly, let's say if we declare that if somebody is producing more than 3 children, that is also crime. So if we enact a law and make it a crime to produce more than 3 children, it will become our duty not to produce more than 3 children. Should we go for that kind of legal provisions for making fundamental duties justiciable?
So we have seen a few examples regarding this, we have seen the UP population policy also, where the provision has been kept to have less number of children, which will have various incentives, like while in contesting for elections, etc. So this somewhere has a positive effect, because this deters the people, keeping in mind the incentives and the disincentives. So of course we can implement in some areas, while also along with implementation, because we know that laws are not just the solution. So along with the laws, we can also have the awareness campaigns and the nudging of the behavior, etc.
Do you think people are discarding Indian citizenship also due to the fact that Indian social environment has become less tolerant or more intolerant? Either way you can phrase it.
So with the recent incidents that we have seen of hate speeches and the lynching that we have seen come across the nation, we can say that there have been these unfortunate incidents, but that does not mean that our country has become less tolerant, because there are various examples where we also come across the different cultural communities, the ethnic or religious communities coming together to help each other. So the renunciation of the citizenship can, this can be one factor, but we cannot solely blame this thing as the renunciation of the citizenship.
Okay, Namra. Thank
you. Namra,
yes,
you are the student of philosophy. So I am putting 3 words: equality, justice and liberty. Explain those three words.
So equality means where we treat everyone equal without any privileges to anyone specific.
Equality of what?
Equality in all the respects, social, political. Where if we talk about social, then it is the equality of opportunities. If we talk about political, then the right to contest elections and to be an equal participant in the political process. Economic, if we talk about, then it is about the various opportunities like the economic opportunities to earn wages, to access to livelihood. These are the equality parameters.
It means all these things are related to the opportunity.
Yes, sir.
Either political opportunity or economic opportunity or social opportunity.
Yes, sir.
Is it right?
Yes, sir. So equality can be also be defined as to ensure that everyone has equal opportunities to their individual development. And this has also been supported by Shri Amartya Sen, the Nobel laureate, who has said that if equality has to be ensured, then it must be then we must ensure that the capability must be developed of each individual.
Just I am putting one example. If you have two sisters, can both sisters be equal?
So like they differ, they will be different in different respects. If we talk about physically, then surely they will not be equal. Then if we talk about providing them the means and the opportunities, then we will have to treat them equally. Also here comes the concept of treating the equals alike and not the unequals. So here comes the concept where we enable the social strata to first reach an equal level of the higher ones and then treat them all alike. So if we treat a rich person and a poor person equally, then that will be
that is better. That is better. Okay. I'm putting one data before you. Regarding women participation, if we look the nursing in India, there are 90% are women. In primary teaching, there are more than 70% teachers are female. In Air Force, it is reduced down to 14%, and in Army, it is 4%. So I am making one opinion from this data that women plays or they want a job of which is safer for her. What's your take?
So, as you have told the data, it is very, I will say, unfortunate that not all the opportunities are taken equally by women as well as the other members of the society. So, if we talk about the data, according to the data, women are preferring the jobs that are closer to their homes, or having kind of flexible timings and there so that they can adjust that into their schedule. So basically this is due to some underlying factors like their security, the patriarchal mindset which forces them to accept that they can't do certain jobs and just limits them within the walls and to certain occupations only. So these are a few reasons. Then also we are trying to negate this notion of gendered occupations, but still we face very some inherent limitations like the new laws that have come up, like the POSH Act, the Maternity Act. They are trying to bring the women at equal level, but somewhere these are seen by the companies or the hirers as the obstacles because they have increased the expenditure, like of setting up the creche facilities, then the internal complaints committee. So somewhere now these are also acting as the obstacles in the way of
very good answer, Namra. Your interest is interaction with the kids.
Yes, sir.
Why kids are vulnerable section of society?
So kids are vulnerable because that age is such that they are very pure. They do not know of the evils that exist in the society. So it is on us, it is on us, the onus on us to explain to them how and what they should be aware of. Also, the reach of social media has penetrated so much into the society that we are not able to keep a track of what they are accessing and to whom they are contacting. So these are a few things. And also because of the concept of neutral families, these days we find that the parents are working and the child is left behind. So the child begins to lack the emotional and the cognitive development. So because of these factors, we we find that children are becoming more vulnerable to various kinds of attacks, not just physical but also emotional, where they feel that they are left behind and are not a part of their family that they should be of.
Last question from my side. Give some 1 or 2 points regarding the philosophy of Gandhi, particularly for the women education.
I'm not able to recollect very clearly, but I would like to just guess if you allow.
Okay, you just guess it.
So, Gandhi ji believed that with regard to women education, he believed that females are the counterparts of males with equal intelligence. So he emphasized on the equality of education in providing them the educational opportunities, and also he focused on vocational education so that they could also contribute to the development of the society.
Thank you, Namra.
Namra,
yes, sir.
What is India's view on West Asia? Like, what is India's foreign policy with respect to West Asia?
So we have look West policy because we are focusing on West Asia. There are various factors for it, because most of our crude oil requirements, they are imported from West Asia. About 60% of it is imported.
Right.
Also, we have the defense requirements, which is fulfilled through the technology transfer from Israel. So although with regard to US, we have been pressurizing, the US has pressured us to cut off ties with Iran and others, but we have been trying to maintain a strategic balance owing to our national interest and the domestic interests.
Okay, like if we talk about a little bit of history, then which were the countries which were more important in West Asia for India, say in the period of Cold War, that is from 1947 to 1991? Which 3 countries would you identify as like important countries for India?
Sorry, sir, I'm not able to.
Okay, and which are the 3 countries you would identify at present?
Sir, Saudi Arabia, Iran for crude oil requirements, and Israel.
Okay, and why has India changed its position with respect to the Palestine issue, or does India's position remain the same?
So India has stood throughout the time for the creation of two-state solution, although it has also criticized the violence that is crossed between Palestine and Israel, but it has always stood, even in the UN, it has always stood for the two-state resolution, asserting its position. So there has not been a major change. It is trying to dehyphenate its policy between Israel and Palestine, trying to maintain balance in the relations between the two.
Okay, what is the difference in Buddhism that is practiced in, say, Tibet and in Sri Lanka?
So in Sri Lanka, the Hinayan form of Buddhism is practiced, whereas in Tibet, it is the Mahayan form. The Hinayan form is the one that treats Buddha, Lord Buddha, as the guide, whereas the Mahayan Buddhism treats Buddha as the god.
Okay, and what about Myanmar?
So Myanmar also, it is Hinayan Buddhism.
Hinayan Buddhism, right. You are also a student of computer science.
Yes.
So recently there has been controversy about artificial intelligence.
Yes.
And especially with respect to a program of Google.
Yes.
What is that?
So Lambda, it is the program of Google. It is a language model for the dialogue purpose. The controversy that has been there is that the engineer who has been associated with it has said that the model is sentient, which has been criticized by the Google itself, saying that it is just a rumor.
Is that possibility there, that of the model being sentient?
It can be a possibility because of the because it all depends on the input sample that we are providing, the kind of conversation that we are trying to develop, because the objective that they have given for developing Lambda was that they are trying to develop fluid conversation so that it can go from one direction to anywhere that the communicator wants. So in that case, if the sample data is such that we are trying to develop emotions in it, so obviously it will lack
okay, number, that's fine. Tell me, there's a coalition government in Uttar Pradesh. Which are the parties which are part of that coalition?
Sorry, sir.
Okay, which is the main party in the coalition?
Sir, the BJP party.
BJP. And you don't know about its allies. Okay, how many members in the Legislative Assembly?
So in Legislative Assembly, we have 403 members.
403 members. And how many members is the ruling party having?
So it crossed the majority mark, but I'm sorry, I don't know the exact number.
And how many members in Legislative Council?
So there are 100
members in Legislative Council. How many members can be nominated to Legislative Council by the governor?
5/6 of, sorry sir.
Okay, not a problem, but they should come from which fields?
So from literature, science, art, social service, cooperatives.
Okay, right. And who is the Speaker of Legislative Assembly?
So Mr. Satish Mahana.
Thank you, sir.
Namra,
Yes, sir.
worldwide monetary policies become more active nowadays, and many central governments are following either dear money policy or contractionary money policy.
Yes, sir.
Is there any difference between the two phrases, dear money policy and contractionary money policy?
Sir, I'm not very sure, but contractionary and dear money policy, sir. So contractionary is when when we try to control the inflation by controlling the money supply, and so as far as I know, sir, dear money is also, the purpose of it is also the same. I'm not very sure.
Okay. So, do you think that the RBI's policy management is effective because rupee has depreciated very sharply in recent days?
So, post-COVID, the economy was in shambles. So, it was RBI's duty, kind of, because through monetary policy, it has been doing the targeting, inflation targeting, and the controlling the inflation and the growth part. So after COVID, it tried to first push the growth that we had seen the fall of. So it has been doing that, which has shown results, positive results. And so now it has shifted its focus towards inflation targeting, which is not just because of the domestic factors, it is also because of the global factors. So we can't purely blame RBI on it. It is doing its part very well, because the global Russian-Ukraine conflict has led to global inflation everywhere. So that is just the ripples of that. And as far as RBI is concerned, it is trying its best to do its policy, and which eventually shows the results.
But the fact that inflation is still growing, not showing any sign of stabilizing, means that the RBI's policy management is not effective. The fact remains this.
So we will to say, because these things take some time, so to comment right away that it is not doing the work, I think we all the citizens of the country need to wait and see, like, how at least 2 quarters we can wait to see how the results fare, and then I think some committee could be set up.
How inflation is impacted when rupee depreciates, which has happened recently?
So when rupee depreciates, the exports grow. So because of which a lot of money comes in, and there is an increase in expenditure because the money in hands increases with the people. So a lot of consumption expenditure increases. So it helps in the growth of the country, as well as it also leads to inflation. So it's a consumption-led inflation that we say.
That means we are going to expect more inflation in coming days because of depreciation of currency?
So when the currency depreciates, then RBI also provides for the sterilized intervention to bring down the rupee. So the current scenario, what I believe is majorly due to the Russia-Ukraine conflict and the tightening of the dollar. So I think RBI has in its agenda to look at it properly.
But the point is that we should be ready for more inflation.
So it all economy depends upon the sentiment. So if it will lead to inflation, then somewhere it will also lead to the GDP growth.
Okay, nice, Namra. Nice talking to you. Your interview is over. You may go now.
Thank you.
Come have your seat, Namra. What's the meaning of this word, Namra?
So it means pure water,
Pure water.
It also has another meaning, that is one who connects people.
Okay, that's good. And that suits your personality because you connect well with the board. Your performance was impressive. Everybody was happy with your performance. And there are many positives in your personality. Your entry sitting posture is good. You have a very positive outlook. You kept the board members engaged. The only suggestion for you, just to make a distinction between mains examination and interview. In mains, you have to be analytical in detail wherever required. Interview, there is a paucity of time. So you explained very well, but it was very longish on many occasions. So make it more to the point. Objectivity should come. Otherwise, your communication is good, your comprehension of question is good. In different domains, you are having good understanding, whether it is your core area, engineering is good, philosophy is good, economics also you explained well. So your faculty of knowledge is impressive and you appear to be very deserving candidate for this post. And we hope that you will be going to score very good, impressive marks in interview. And if you scored well in mains, you should have an overall very good rank in this examination. If any questions are there, you can ask.
Sir, I was like about my intro. In interview, we are not allowed to speak tell our name and the district. So I was skeptical about what all things should I include in introduction. Like today, I spoke about my educational qualification and my hobbies. So will that be okay?
You have to develop a third eye view. You have to become a different person. Look at Namra, the individual. Woman maybe, individual first, citizen of India, who is having certain age. You don't need to disclose the age. But apart from what kind of training you have taken or education you have taken, what other elements are there in your personality?
Okay, sir.
You need to underline those points also.
So maybe I can tell about my strengths in that. Okay. And sir, like I've also appeared earlier in this interview, UP interview. So should I be focusing, like should I mention it here and there somewhere?
You have appeared in UP interview earlier?
Yes, sir.
How many times?
Sir, once.
Once. And what was your performance then?
Sir, I got 72.
That was good marks. So this time you should further improve it. Are you going to wear this dress?
No, sir, sari.
Sari, that's good. So we are hoping that this time will be scoring even better.
Hopefully, sir.
Yeah, if they ask you to introduce yourself, you may mention that.
Okay, sir.
Because that is an achievement for you.
Yes, sir.
All the best.
Okay, thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.